Hello friends, welcome to Architect Interview Question Series by Knowledge Powerhouse. In this series, we are covering more questions on system design, system architecture, and software design. Let's go on to our next question. Question is, how will you choose between Relational DB and NoSQL DB during system design? So when you're doing a system design, you're answering a question on system design, how would you choose between these two categories of databases? So there are various criteria, and let's see what use case satisfy to which, and based on that we can pick up a Relational DB or NoSQL DB. The first criteria is OLTP versus OLAP. So OLTP is online transaction processing, like if you have a financial transactions, you want to record that data, that is OLTP. And OLAP is online analytical processing, where you want to generate some reports, you want to generate some dashboards, some analysis, that is OLAP. So relational DBs are a popular choice when we are implementing online transaction processing, because they can make transactions secure and transactions can have like consistent behavior. That way, it's good to record transactions in an OLTP system. Whereas NoSQL DBs are popular choice for handling online analytical processing use cases. Like if we have to prepare some reports, daily dashboards, or kind of a by minute activity kind of a thing, those trackers, you can use NoSQL databases for those use cases. Another criteria is ACID properties. So ACID properties are like, these are the ACID properties of databases, relational databases: atomicity, like consistent, like isolation, durability, right? So that way, consistency. So all these things are ACID properties, and which means like if you want to keep your transactions consistent, like maintaining all the rules of your database, isolated and durable, then you use relational DB. Whereas NoSQL databases, they do not provide ACID properties. Because of that, they are not so suitable for this kind of a scenario. So if your business needs ACID compliant transactions, go for relational database rather than NoSQL database. Then comes big data. So relational DBs, they have a limitation that they can support finite amount of data. So they cannot be like extensively scaled to like thousands of nodes. So they cost much more beyond the normal limits. Like if you want to like scale them beyond some specific limit, it will take much more cost. Whereas NoSQL databases, they are a popular choice for handling big data. So in big data use cases, our data needs grow exponentially, right? Like that is what big data is, that we start getting like a lot of data in very short span of time, and now we want to search on it, we want to store this data, we want to have reports on it. In such a scenario, the preferred choice is NoSQL databases like Hadoop, or like Cassandra or MongoDB. Those are the popular choices for big data use cases. Then comes a choice of structured data versus unstructured data. So we have structured data like a table, if you see in this example, and the unstructured data is like some PDF, some audio files, video files, some kind of a social media data. So all that are the examples of unstructured data. So if we have structured data, we can store it in tables like column or in a consistent data type. Then we can use relational DB, and we can maintain the relationship between this data, and we can have entity relationship kind of a scenario. Whereas if we have unstructured data where no entities, we are like just click streams of web generated data, or Internet of Things IoT devices are generating data, in that case we prefer NoSQL database. Another choice of relational and NoSQL databases, that what kind of NoSQL database we want to use. So in relational, you have one choice, that it has to be supporting SQL and ACID properties. Whereas in NoSQL, if we have a graph scenario, we can use like some graph-oriented database, or we can have column-oriented database. We can even have key value pairs or document-oriented database. Right? So those are the choices we can have in NoSQL database. So these kind of choices are not in relational database. And last but not the least, there are querying capabilities. Like if we have some SQL like querying capabilities, then also we can use some of the NoSQL databases that can provide SQL like querying capability. But the only downside is that it will take some time to get the results to come back. They may not be as fast as that you get in a relational database. But from user perspective, often like if the syntax is fine, you can just get a SQL syntax query and get the results from NoSQL database. So all right, if you just to recap, what are the criteria for choosing between Relational DB and NoSQL DB? Querying capabilities, choice of NoSQL database like graph-oriented, document-oriented, column-oriented, structured data versus unstructured data. Structured data for goes to relational and unstructured goes to NoSQL. Big data by default mostly goes to NoSQL database. Acid properties of transaction, which goes to relational database, whereas the base model is for NoSQL databases. And then OLTP versus OLAP. OLTP goes to relational and OLAP goes to NoSQL databases. So that's all on this topic from us. If you still have any other questions or if you have any doubts, do let us know in your comments. And if you have any feedback or you want to cover any new topic, put it in the comments and we'll be happy to reply to you and prepare some kind of a lecture or series on that. Thank you everyone and have a great day.